But with that down, let's move into our first topic here. And the first topic today is none other than the Flash movie news. So for the longest time, not only did we get the Supergirl announcement, but I believe, John, you looked it up before. It was 2014, if I'm not mistaken, when Ezra Miller was actually announced to be playing the Flash for the DC. Like literally 7 years ago. But now, I mean, it's gone through like 7 directors, it feels like. Just as many writers. Who the hell knows? But it's finally being made. Andy Muschietti, the 5th or 6th director, 7th something, to come on and actually sign up for this movie. Director of It and It 2. He's been the longest person to stay on it thus far. And he's definitely given, he was there for the Fandom event, given the information that, you know, Keaton and Affleck are returning. And then just the other day dropped the news about the Supergirl casting. So not only are we going to have Batman, plural, in the movie, now Supergirl is going to be appearing in the movie. And he also dropped this picture of him actually outside of a studio. So this movie is actually happening. Like, it's actually happening. I don't buy it though, because they're not. This is like a drone cam. This is not lights, camera, action. So I don't know, but it's finally happening. This is the closest anybody's been to it happening.
This movie is so secretive that they can't even give you a picture from inside the studio. They have to give you a shot from outside. That's how secretive and big this movie is going to be. It's going to reset the entire DCEU and get it on the same playing field as the MCU.
Hopefully, yeah.
That's kind of the dream.
It's the dream. I have no faith in what I just said.
No, yeah.
Big shoes to fill.
I just hope they make a good effing movie. I mean,
yeah.
At this point, DC is so hit or miss. Like, just please let the movie actually be good.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's all we can really ask for, man. Is that's all, like, Aquaman was good fun. Like, I've only watched it once. I've never felt the need to go back and watch it again. It's honestly one of my least favorite DC movies, but it was still a good movie.
Very colorful.
I've liked all the DC movies to an extent, though, so I'm not like, I don't know if I'm the best person to ask.
I feel like you're a little biased on that, though. Like, you just love
I like
DC. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but
I just like DC stuff. But I've liked the Zack Snyder movies. Like, half the people out there don't, you know? Like, I've liked them all. I didn't really care for Suicide Squad, but I mean, no one else really did either. So, like,
True.
Like, I thought Aquaman was good. I don't know. I thought Shazam and Wonder Woman were better, but that was really about.
Yeah, I love Shazam and Wonder Woman. Aquaman was fine. Suicide Squad was fine. I put Aquaman and Suicide Squad kind of in the same boat. I guess pun intended. And I put Aquaman Aquaman seemed to have a little more heart to it than Suicide Squad, so I maybe put it a little bit higher. But both of them I felt like could have been executed a little bit better. You know, that being said, you know, who am I to talk? Where's my movie? How many movies I made? But still, I mean, from a fan's perspective, I just didn't feel like they were as good as I had hoped they were going to be.
Yeah, I mean, because all the movies, they start with so much potential. Because that's the thing. All of us fans know the potential that all these characters have. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, there's tons of source material, whether be it from the comics, graphic novels, animations, doesn't matter. Like, we know the potential. And it's not easy to make a movie in general, let alone a big comic book movie and please the audience and all that stuff. And that's why, like you said, I'm just hoping for a good movie. Like, because it's hard to make a good movie, especially with, you know, given the track record and given we're 7 years in the making with this Flash movie, and they do have a good director attached to it, so that has me excited. Like, I liked It and It too. I thought it was
Andy
a lot better.
Muschietti's a good director.
Yeah, he's good. He's definitely good. I've liked everything he's come out and announced himself, like the Batman stuff that's happening in the movie, the Supergirl stuff now. Although I don't know why he has Henry's suit and not Henry, Warner Brothers. What the hell's going on?
Or is that
with
the Supergirl suit? Or is that just
no? That's totally Henry's suit.
Yeah, that's the Man of Steel, Zack Snyder version.
Yeah, and I don't mean him just have. I'm sure he has his own. I mean, as he says, his cape's in the closet, right? I mean, you're casting Supergirl, but we still don't have Man of Steel 2. Okay? That's
Yeah.
what I'm upset about. Like,
Write a
Yeah.
complaint letter.
We
all
don't
this
even have
other stuff.
confirmation that Henry's coming back to play Superman again in the DCEU.
exactly.
I mean, let alone a Man of Steel 2. We don't have confirmation that he's going to show up in any of these other movies. I mean, we got confirmation that Ben's coming back to play Batman, but not Henry as Superman. I mean, Henry is the best casting they've done for the entire DCEU, and
100%.
that's
He is.
the one. That's the one you can't lock up. That you can't get done. You can't get locked back in for at least one, if not multiple more movies.
Henry's a busy guy, but I mean, at the same time, like he is Superman.
Yeah. I
That's
mean,
perfect.
Definitely.
dude, that's the thing. Like with him, even though like it's a 50-50 split, we'll say, of people who like Man of Steel and like BVS, the people from the most part, when I see anybody trashing on Man of Steel, which you're crazy if you do, but if you do, I bet you're probably like, yeah, that movie sucks, but he's a pretty good Superman.
Right.
Exactly.
That's what happens like 9 times out of 10. I hear that all the time. It's like they didn't like the movie, but they like him as Superman.
Yeah, he's
like,
good as the character.
Yeah. Well, he's a great
Yeah,
Superman.
it's the story around the character, but his portrayal. I mean, everybody enjoys his portrayal of the character. Like I mean, and you just see like how hard. Look over the years. Look at how hard they got it right with Christopher Reeve for that era, and then they tried to bring Brandon Routh in to kind of duplicate what Christopher Reeve had, and didn't really work exactly that great. And it's just hard to cast that role. There's a mix of grace and power that you have to have with that character, and it's just hard to find actors that can toe that line, embody both those characteristics. And I think Henry does it to a T, and I don't
Hands
know
down.
why. I mean, if they don't bring him back, like your chances of finding somebody else to play that role as well are slim to none, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can't think. I'm sure there's somebody out there. There's millions of good actors, but when I think of Superman, like 9 times out of 10, like I picture Henry Cavill's face.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
he's almost like the first thing that pops into my head. Like if Superman's just brought up in general, like because for the longest time it used to be for me anyway, like animated Superman, like the Batman animated series, Superman the animated series. What's his name? Bruce Timm. The Bruce Timm animation of Superman was always like what popped into my head when I thought of Superman. But now it's Henry. Like, but what do you guys think about this? Because this is also kind of a cool thing for the Supergirl aspect. Is I love that a lot of the headlines are writing with it, like as they're depicting, like the big headline is first ever Latina Supergirl.
Yeah.
It's like really the first Supergirl in a film to begin with.
True.
Which I think is a cool
Well,
thing.
besides Helen Slater back in the 80s with the one-off Supergirl film.
Oh, I forgot.
There's a
existed.
one-off Supergirl film.
There's a one-off Supergirl film from the 80s, and it was Helen Slater, I believe, that played
sounds
her.
like a thing.
And they tried to capitalize on the success of the Christopher Reeve Superman film franchise by starting a Supergirl film franchise, and it was a pretty bad movie. Not due to her.
This.
Yeah, this was not had nothing wrong with her portrayal of the character. Just the movie, the entire movie around it. Again, the story was not great, and so that was the only time we've seen Supergirl on the big screen. I'm trying to think if I don't think she's appeared in any other movies since then. Of course, we've got the Supergirl Melissa Benoit portrayal on the CW, which I love. And I think
it was in Smallville too.
That's correct. Yeah, I forgot about that.
But
They
big
did have
screen,
her.
I forgot this thing existed.
But again, Smallville was one of those too where like they never had them in costume. Like they always had those costumes that kind of hinted at who they were and stuff. So while we did get an actor portraying Kara Zor-El, we never got her in the full costume. I'm assuming, especially since he showed the costume, that this new casting she'll be in costume. The other thing I found interesting was, you're right, all the news outlets and stuff are saying like first Latina Superman and stuff, and like I understand the impact or the importance of casting a person of color, a different nationality in the role, but I also think it's interesting because I mean she's Kryptonian, Superman's Kryptonian.
Exactly.
So like it's
Exactly.
I love the idea that they're expanding outside the bounds of, you know, just a Caucasian woman as Superman, because, you know, who's to say what Krypton, the makeup of Krypton is, and you know
Yeah.
how their how their demographics break down and stuff. And so, you know, it's totally plausible that you'd have somebody with a darker skin tone or something else be Kal-El's cousin and be in the movie. So I really thought that was a cool. It caught me off guard because I wouldn't have expected. Although the announcement itself caught me off guard, I hadn't heard anything about Supergirl being in this movie.
Yeah,
so,
that's for sure.
But when I got to thinking about it, I was like, that's actually kind of cool. It's like a clever way to kind of play with people's expectations there. So I'm looking forward to see what they have to do with it.
Yeah,
I'm with you.
I think that's cool. And I mean, like you said, that there's no written rule of like the ethnicity. I mean, they're Kryptonian, like you said. That's their ethnicity.
Yeah.
And it's good for the Latina community to have somebody represent them in such a prominent role, I think, which is cool. So
Definitely.
Your cam froze, John.
I think it's a good casting. But other than having like a blonde-haired, blue-eyed, you know, American woman player.
Yeah, no, for sure. That's the thing. It's great that they're expanding the role. I'm just it doesn't matter. Like, it's great for like them to be included. It's people out there who like have a problem with it, where I'm saying it doesn't matter, because like you were saying, dude, like Superman is not white. Like
No.
he's Kryptonian. He looks white.
He's got a Caucasian
Like,
complexion.
he's been drawn to look white, but he's not actually white. Like, technically speaking, he's an alien.
He's not Caucasian. Yeah.
He's an alien. He's not a Caucasian American or anything. He's just
He's not a European.
No European.
He could look like anything. And then there's the one, and then the
Jor-El didn't come from Germany or England.
yeah,
or France.
exactly. There's the what was it? The Max Landis run that didn't he have Kryptonians looking like these crazy like alien, like they look crazy as hell. They looked like weird monster things, and like all they did was kind of transformer themselves. Like they would replicate the existing
to look like a human.
Yeah. So when a Kryptonian came to Earth, it scanned the species there, and that's what it looked like.
Made him blend.
So it was kind of like a shape-shifting thing, but it was like done since the way he described it is like, I think it's a permanent thing once it does it the one time, but like they start off with this like really weird looking form. That's not how it always is. That's just Max Landis, what he was saying for his Kryptonians and stuff. But nevertheless, I am not familiar with this girl's work, but she looked real excited, and I can understand why.
Was she surprised in that live stream about it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was like
it's
her
a very
getting
touching clip that they put up. I mean, like, you want to see somebody experience a moment of like pure joy, like that was it right there. Which as a fan of the comic books and stuff, like, you can't ask for more. You can't ask for more than somebody that is genuinely excited to play the role that they've been cast to play. Like, you see some of these castings, and I don't want to harp on the guy because I actually think he did a good job. I have my issues with his movie but like Ben Affleck, like, I think Ben Affleck wanted to be Batman to an extent, but like when I see him go on Jimmy Kimmel or whatever and say, yeah, my kids really, I thought it'd be really cool for my kids to see me play Batman on the big screen. It's like, all right, I mean, that's a cool reason. Like, I want to do things that my kid would think I was cool doing too, but like, I want somebody that has that passion, has that drive.
Ben Affleck is a huge Batman fan, though. He has a Bat Cave like built into his house.
What?
True, and like
he's a big Batman fan. I think he just got fed the fuck up with Warner Brothers.
Well, he's a much more prominent actor.
But I can't blame him for that.
I mean, he did Daredevil because he was a big comic book guy. Like, I don't doubt his comic book card. Like, he's got his comic book card. I agree with that. I'm just saying, like, his reaction or his rationale for why he's playing the character didn't quite match. And maybe it was different. Maybe when he got asked, maybe he was more excited than he appears in an interview, you know, months, weeks later, after he's already gone through all the, you know, headaches of actually getting cast and doing fittings and stuff. So maybe that dulled some of the shine off of his. But I'm just saying, like, I like seeing that person that has that amount of passion and enthusiasm for what they're about to do.
Yeah.
With Ben Affleck, though, I mean, he's such a prominent actor. To him it's like, cool, yeah, I'm playing Batman, but it's not like, this girl who it's like, holy shit, I'm playing Supergirl. Like she doesn't
Yeah,
have that same kind of line of work that Ben Affleck does. So this is a big deal, I'm sure, to her.
Oh yeah, I mean,
definitely.
if you look at her filmography, I mean, she only goes back to 2017, like at
Yeah.
least anything credited. So I mean, this is huge for her. I mean, this would be huge
Yeah.
for anybody, but this is like especially huge for her, given the fact that like very early in her career and she's really young.
Yeah.
So like, hopefully, it's a good movie. So it boosts her career if she's talented. Like I said, I'm not familiar with her work, so like she could be
Well,
the greatest, she could be the worst. I have no idea, but
and I hope this isn't a one-off. I hope this isn't like they brought her on to play this character just in this movie, and there are no plans to do anything else with
Mhm.
her going forward. Like I hope that she is, part of a broader DCEU plan, or I don't know why we even call it the DCEU anymore because they've broken it apart so much. It doesn't. I guess I just don't know what else to call it. But anyway, I hope that DC has plans to use her in some other fashion. If not her own movie, then maybe in a Man of Steel. I mean, how although introducing her in Flash would then kind of mute her involvement in Man of Steel, but it would be so cool to see like Henry established as Superman after the events of Justice League, and have Man of Steel 2 and have her arrive as his cousin and see him navigate the world with this new Kryptonian. That would be really cool.
it'd be
That would be
cool.
cool.
Anyway,
Yeah. That'd be
I'm
cool
coming
for
up with
Man
my
of
own
Steel
story on the fly
3.
here. We can
Yeah,
get back
well,
to
that's
the
Man
topic.
of Steel 3, okay? We
Sure.
need Man of Steel
Perfect.
2. I need Henry to have his movie. Then he can do whatever the hell he wants. He can help Supergirl out. But speaking of which, DC was looking at like a while ago. They were trying to get a Batwoman or a Batgirl rather, Batgirl, Barbara Gordon Batgirl movie made, and they were trying to get a Nightwing movie made with Chris McKay. And I think Joss
Yeah,
Whedon was brought on to do Batgirl, which that's probably
yeah.
not going to happen at all anymore.
He left
Um,
that project years ago. Like I
yeah,
think just shortly after Justice League, he
hmm
left Batgirl.
yeah.
Um,
But I mean,
Probably
they
a
might
good
have
thing.
had a Supergirl in development too at that point. That's kind of what I'm thinking. Like maybe they were tossing around ideas for Supergirl, and Andy Muschietti
sure.
had an idea for it, and they were like, "Yeah, do it. We had a plan
Yeah.
for it anyway, so like just introduce it, you cast it, do whatever."
I'm
So,
personally cool with Joss Whedon not having any involvement, but it's just me.
yeah, I think a lot of people are at this point, but
Yeah,
like, which is a shame because he was a damn good director. I'll give him that. Like,
was.
Yeah.
well, he is a
Ye-
damn good director. Like, I mean,
Well,
he
yeah, I
it
mean,
doesn't change like that he might be a dick, but like he's a
it
damn
was
good
yeah.
director.
yeah, somebody on one of the social media posts I follow said something about like they have a hard time, going back and watching his shows and stuff and because of this and anything that he's been involved with now has his taint on it. And I understand that initial reaction, or I understand that feeling about anything that has his name on it. But I also think people, and this is obviously off topic, but since we got on the topic, I think people, hopefully those of you out there that have enjoyed things like Buffy and Angel and Firefly and the Avengers movies and these other Dollhouse, um, I hope you can keep in mind that there are hundreds, if not thousands, of other people whose work and sweat and tears went into making those things. And there are tons of even the actors and actresses who so supposedly had um, a tough time working with Joss, to put it lightly. Supposedly, you know, they put their work and effort into those shows, and I don't think that those shows are diminished in any way just
No.
because he's associated with them, because all those people deserve to have their work celebrated. You should be able to still watch Charisma Carpenter portray Cordelia Chase and Angel and Buffy and enjoy her performance. If nothing else, in spite of what she went through with Joss Whedon, to
Mhm.
kind of honor what she actually did. Personally, I think Charisma Carpenter's character arc in Angel was one of the best character arcs in a TV series for that I've ever seen. Her transformation from the kind of ditzy cheerleader esque person coming out of Buffy to a real full-fledged character and integral part of that Angel show was just phenomenal. And that was all in charisma. I mean, yeah, the words and the story were put on page, but it was her portrayal that really pulled that story together. And so I think it's important that people realize, like, yeah, I understand the the idea, the feeling that those things are somehow tainted, but I encourage people to look at it from the side of, look at all the other people whose work went into those, and how
Yeah.
much, of a disservice it is to just kind of wash those away and feel like those don't matter, because then you're also washing away all those other people's involvement.
He's a small piece of a large puzzle.
Yeah.
So,
Exactly. Yeah.
Exactly. Very well said. Very well said. Because there's really no wrong or not. There's no right way to look at it. Like, I understand if people like don't have that ability to separate the art from the artist. I typically
Mhm.
can. I more or less the way it works in my mind is like it's more difficult for me to want to watch anything new. Like if Joss Whedon got hired to do a movie right now, I probably would be less inclined to like do anything with that one. But the things
Sure.
that have already been done,
let him be done.
it's they're already been done. I've already like they weren't. I've already experienced it, so it's not really. You can't retroactively taint something in my like in
well,
my
especially
head.
if you
know what I
like
mean?
it,
That's what I'm
without
saying,
knowing
like-
that. It's like,
Not that
Yeah.
it's like, and that might be the. I don't think there really is a right or wrong way of looking at it. That's just how my head kind of works with it. Like new
Sure.
stuff, probably not, but old stuff, I can go watch Avengers and not be like, just crying through it because I'm like mad and stuff. Like I can,
Mhm.
I'll think about the Avengers and that's it.
yeah,
Well,
exactly.
Like,
And the other thing to keep in mind too is, you look at like Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Joss Whedon did the story for the Buffy the Vampire Slayer movie with Kristen Swanson, I think. Christy Swanson, I can't remember her name. There was a Buffy the Vampire Slayer movie that came out. It had Matthew Perry in it, from 90210. It bombed. It did terrible. And then Joss reworked the story, and but it was basically the same premise, and brought it to the WB network, where it obviously blew up and became huge with Sarah Michelle Gellar. But those are both kind of the same concept coming from the same person. But when you have other people involved and you have the work and of other people, it shows how much those other people's influence have on that story and the resulting product that came from it. So it's not all Joss Whedon's thing, and that's why I think it's important that people still be able to enjoy those.
yeah, absolutely, 100%. And it was Christy Swanson.
Yeah.
Christy
That-
Swanson and Donald Sutherland were in that film.
The movie was old,
right.
though, wasn't it? Like from the 80s?
1992.
Late early 90s,
Okay.
mid 90s.
Yeah.
1992, according to
Yeah.
the Google at least. So, but guys, what do you think about this? Do you think the Flash movie is actually going to get made here? Because, like I said, all we got so far, like I'm just saying, is a picture outside of what looks like a studio. Could be a big garage, could be a big warehouse. I don't see lights and cameras in yet, so I'm not gonna say any. I'm hoping it's actually getting made at this point because I do want to see the movie, and I've been super intrigued ever since the Batman news, really more than anything. I mean, I'm a Batman guy, so you bring Ben Affleck back, my favorite Batman, and then Keaton back, hopefully for Batman Beyond. I'm pretty excited. You sign me up. Now we got Supergirl in there. This is all good news. So guys, let us know what you think down in the comment section below, and let us know, are you still comfortable watching older Joss Whedon movies and just not newer ones? Are you able to separate the art from the artist in that way, kind of like I am, or you just write it all off in general? Because I think John articulated that very well. Think of the Avengers. Thousands of people worked on that movie other than Joss Whedon. So is it even like kind of morally right to write the whole movie off at that point, because you're writing off thousands of people's other their work too? So it's an interesting question. Let us know what you think down in the comment section below.